Greetings, this is Dr. Della Welch again, talking to you about Immanuel Kant, K-A-N-T. He was a very famous philosopher during his time. In fact, he was such a great star that if you would think of someone in Hollywood, it would be like Brad Pitt or Angelina Jolie. And if you look at the show Gone with the Wind, he'd be like Rhett Butler and Scarlett O'Hara. He was just an incredible star. His thinking was very, very influential in Western thought. One thing that he's very famous for is the categorical, C-A-T-E-G-O-R-I-C-A-L, imperative. And Kant said, act only according to that maxim, M-A-X-I-M. A maxim is a principle, whereby you can, at the same time, will that it should become a universal law. So it is an absolute rule, meaning you must always do it. And it's universal. If you want to break it, you say, what if everyone in the world broke it? Suppose we had a rule like you should never lie. Well, what if everyone in the world broke that rule? Well, we'd have perjury in the courts. The society would be in chaos. No one would know what is true and what is false. So that is a very important maxim. One thing that's important to remember, there are no gray areas, G-R-E-Y areas, because the rule is absolute. There's a cartoon of someone in the bookstore in a philosophy section, and the man says, I like Kant. And the woman said, but he's so negative, I don't like to buy any of his books. What Kant would say, just do it. And so this one maxim, this is his first rule, is a rule for all. And this is Kant's categorical imperative. Sometimes my students, when they're studying Mill and when they're studying Aquinas and when they're studying all these other philosophers, they say, teacher, how can we remember Kant's famous rule? I said, we'll use something silly like a cat, the categorical imperative. That helps you remember it. Kant made some very important distinctions. He had a rule called A-P-R-I-O-R-I. A priori rule is based on reason, such as 2 plus 2 equal 4. However, a P-O-S-T-E-R-I-O-R-I, a posteriori, that is based on observation and experience, such as today it is raining. Most of Kant's work would be a priori, based on his reasoning, and that's because he never traveled very far from his home in Prussia, which is now Russia. And one of the things that this is often called is deontology. And deontology focuses on duty. You have a duty to do the right thing. And so that is very important. It's very important to distinguish that from utilitarianism and John Stuart Mill, who said, take the action that makes the most people the happiest. Well, Kant didn't care about happiness, or he didn't care about the end result. He cared about the absolute rule, and that's how you determine what is right and what is wrong, by following the absolute rule. Sometimes my students say, what is normative? Normative, his rule, Kant's rule, is normative. That's determining standards for the right conduct. And deontology is duty based on ethics. Deon, D-E-O-N, it means duty. Tology is a science. So it's important to remember these subparts of the rule.